rocket science kind of thing. But the course, inshallah, will be very interactive. We'll be doing quite a lot of exercises. Each of you should have one of these, either in black and white or color, depending on what time you arrived. Get the early ones got the color. So, just give you an overview of the website links and everything. This is the purpose of the course. The key thing is in the middle, which is the action plan. Throughout the next few hours, inshallah, we'll be filling these up. You will be filling it based on the actions that you think will work for you. The intention, the thing that really we want to achieve from this session today is you make a little bit of change that is consistent in your life. That's it. Even if it's just 3 seconds extension to your sajda, alhamdulillah, we're done. Right? But we need to find that bit that resonates with you. Okay, we'll be taking you through the whole course, the whole the Salah. It actually is a 2-day course. We've condensed it to 3 hours to make sure that people see there's a lot to do. Okay? So in 3 hours, obviously we can't do justice to such a big, even Surah Fatiha we can't complete, but we'll try to quickly go through things. We'll do some more exercises. And the first part, inshallah, will be the introduction and the methods, because we use a little bit of conventional methods, but a lot of new scientific methods, which is the neuro-linguistic programming, probabilistic interaction, graduated interval recall, and all so many different combined with mind mapping and related things. We'll go through that in a bit as well. So key thing is introduction to method, all the bits of Salah, and then filling up the action plan, and then sharing the action as well. Okay. So before we start, let's do the right thing, which is please make the dua for yourself first. Rabbi zidni ilma. Oh Allah, increase us in knowledge, increase me in knowledge. And then make dua for your friends as well. Because you won't be able to do it unless your friends are doing it. It's very important to have the right company. Okay? Make the dua as well. And person sitting next to you, so in pairs, can you just shake hands, say salam, and make a dua for that person. Right now. So I'll hand it over to Dr. Khalid for the introduction.
I'm just here for part of the course. I'm facilitating Brother Naveed, and you'll see on your left, some of you may relate it to a group of boys we normally teach, but this course is so important that we taught before we bring them in and do it together. Important question was, why are we here? This is an interactive course, so please feel free to say whatever you want to say, yeah? Within reason. So, as long as you don't criticize me, I'm happy. So why are we here? No, you guys, please. Huh?
To increase
knowledge, to increase our knowledge.
To increase my concentration in Salah.
To increase my khushu and so on.
Yeah.
It's so important to understand what is happening. When I said why are we here, I wasn't very clear on why we're here, so you can take the perception as you want. It could have been why are we in this world. Yeah? Didn't make that clear. Now if I change the question to why are we in this world, then what would be the answer?
To worship.
Almost the same. Yeah? So if you're all going to do the same thing, you should have a standard format. Makes it easier. Yeah? And if you have a standard format, what do you need to have? What's the most essential thing for having a standard format so people do the same thing? Discipline. And where do you get the discipline from? Well, what's discipline, if you want to think about it that way? How would you define discipline? Following rules or doing things in a set pattern. What do we do as Muslims, 60 million, second, third religion in the world? What do we do in a standard format? Not sure. No communication required. Yeah? You can all stand in one line, in one room, with a small variation, majority will do exactly the same thing. Yeah? Most of our timings are the same, but the most important principle that's the same is that we're connecting with Allah. Yeah? And that's the picture here. That's the picture. So basically, you're all right. The whole purpose of being in this world is it's like an exam. And this, my guys will answer on the left side. When you go to an exam, what does the examiner do? What does he do? Come on, some of you are going to mocks and GCSEs.
Watching it.
He watches. Does he speak?
No.
So if you're going through an exam in this world, do you expect Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to speak to you? Because frequently people will say, you know, I'm praying namaz, where's Allah? I can't see him. Yeah? That's how important. I'll distribute the second picture to everyone. Just have a quick glance at that picture and tell me what you think that is. I've got limited time, so I'll really zoom through it, yeah? This is a long course.
Talking about this lead.
Yeah? This one. This actually, as a part of my profession, I see that. I've taken off the title, but that's exactly what happens. There are certain diseases that you can see, you can treat. There are certain that you can't. That's one of those you can't. And that's like our first question. I said, why are we here? We had different answers. That picture can be many things. It could be someone in pain, someone in frustration, someone not getting what they want. But that is something that we can all go through and prevent from going through. And that's connecting with the last one I've done again. So, the last, sorry, what was that? When you talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's here, and it says that when you can only pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if you want you to pray. Okay? So if I invite you to my house, then will I feed you or not? When will I listen to you or not? Yeah? So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala invites you to prayer, will He listen to you or not? Now if I have got everyone in this room, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not have limited time, but this is just an analogy, yeah? So if I wanted to listen to someone in this room, who would I listen to? I could do that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala I can't, remember. If I wanted to listen to someone, who would I listen to?
Whoever pushes them.
Whoever wants to be heard, what will they have to do? Yeah, raise their hand, make a noise, do something. Yeah? Something above the ordinary person, yeah? So if you want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to listen to you, how would you do it? You connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 5 times a day, yeah? There's 60 million of us around the world, or probably more, yeah? And you want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to listen to you. So how are you going to do it? Improve yourself, concentration, know what you're asking for. If you ask me something, and I can't understand what you're asking me, how am I going to give it to you? Yeah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from all these barriers, yeah? This is just to improve our practice, that I'm saying this, and also Allah ta'ala can listen to everyone at the same time and give everyone what they want at the same time with the link or not, yeah? Or faster. So that's not limitation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's how it goes. Next slide, please. Just doing through that one. Now, the ways of doing it is all the programming and learning and techniques in the world are based on 3 principles, or 4 principles, yeah? One is creating an image, okay? Because you can't do what you can't see, so sometimes you have to learn. And it's very dry. Sometimes the best people to ask how to learn are the children, because they have brilliant ways of doing it. And in my experience, women have a more creative imagination. So when we were in medical college, the boys would have a normal book and women would have these fancy colored charts. And they used to make these silly algorithms that work because they scored the top. So it works for them, but that's how you do it. So all the programming, all of these things, they concentrate on things. Sound, yeah? You see people talking to themselves, repeating things, yeah? So you have a memory pattern which we won't go into, but that's how the memory works. It's a specific way. So you need sound, you need action, okay? You need color, imagination, okay? Based on those things, you'll have neuralistic programming, you'll have your mind mapping techniques, total physical interaction, Rosetta Stone, that's another method of doing it, mind mapping, visual mapping. All of these things involve 3 things. It's interaction. So if you're sitting in the back of the room, not asking a question, yeah, or not getting yourself involved, more likely thing is you're not going to use your senses. Okay? So if you get involved, ask questions, and my professor used to tell me this, the silliest question is the one that's not been asked. Yeah? So if you ask a question, that can alter your salah, and that would make the difference between paradise and no paradise. Yeah? So that's what it is. That's how you're going to concentrate. So the whole purpose of the course today is to visualize when you're in Salah, the different stages of Salah, why you're there, and what you're actually doing. Yeah? Now if you just imagine, if you hold your pencil straight like that one, please. Everyone? Yeah? But this is what Brother Naveed said. Now if this pen was to go straight up, where would it hit? Straight up, yeah? And the ceiling, right from here to here. If you just alter it a little bit, how much have you altered it? Yeah? Not much. But if it were to hit the ceiling, it would be at least a meter apart. Yeah? So just by a little alteration here, your target shifts. Yeah? So the whole point is, I'm assuming, okay, maybe totally wrong, we're all here. Yeah? We want to be there. So our salahs are going, oh, we're not hitting target. All we need to do, little movement, hit a straight thing, and inshallah you'll get it. Yeah? But that's how we're going to do it. So that's what we've got to do. Understand, yeah? Why are you doing salah? So we've all said it, so mashallah we all know it. We're here for an exam. The examiner is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's watching silently. That's what the examiner does. And when a person tries to cheat, what happens? You get hit on the head, yeah? And then when we go into difficulties or trials and tribulations, what do you think that's? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us, come back, alter this, yeah? Then you've got to ask Allah. So when you ask Allah, you have to ask in different ways. If you've got, how many of us have got children? Yeah? And how many times when you can sit into your room trying to relax and all your 3 children or 4 children or how many you've got come and ask the same thing at the same time? It probably happens all the time with me. So who do you listen to most? You listen to the person who asks first, and this is very well depicted in Huzur Prophet's Sirah. And Huzur Prophet said about 70,000 Muslims that will go straight into Jannah without any questions. The people in that congregation stood up and one said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, pray that I go into Jannah. And Huzur Prophet prayed for him. Then another stood up and asked, they were taking advantage of Huzur Prophet, they were using their head. Yeah? So when you're in Salah, that is a direct communication, but you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how important you make it is how you do it. Yeah? So if you were to go into a party or a mehfil, how would you decide? The more important is, the more time you take to dress up. Yeah? Look good, smell good, make sure you wear everything in the right place. You don't get out of bed and go straight to a party. Well, I don't know, men might do, but women don't. So you will decide according to paradise. So if you prioritize your salah, then you will go accordingly, because you are going to ask for what, and whatever you ask you will get. When you get it, how you get it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. So how to ask from Allah? Yeah? You can just go and ask anything. And the final thing is, Brother Naveed will inshallah put you on the start today. Okay? Any questions on that? Feel free, it's an interactive session. Anything, please ask. Good, so that's like my professor said, either you've not understood anything or you've understood everything. So either we can go home or we can start.
Okay, exactly. So, as a very nice reminder, then if you notice the statement on the top, if we fail to plan, we plan to fail. Does that make sense? Yes. Think about it from a basic daily life example. For example, men assume that their wives will prepare dinner irrespective of whatever is going on throughout the day. Okay? The dinner should be ready, unless we have plans to go out. Okay? Let's assume that this family has agreed that we will stay home tonight. We won't go out at all. And nobody is doing anything towards preparing the food. And the dinner time is approaching, and dinner time comes, and dinner time passes. Is there a fault somewhere? We did not plan to have dinner. So we failed to plan the dinner.
We're all going to get dinner.
Okay? And that is exactly what we're doing with our salah. If you don't have plans to learn the salah, understand the salah, come closer to Allah Ta'ala, understand the meaning, context, tajweed, all sorts of things, that means you do not have the plan. That means you have planned to fail, failing that test that we've been talking about. It's very important to have that plan ready. Ramadan is coming. Please do write it down. There is no plan in the mind. You have to write it down. Put it on the fridge, wherever you spend the most time. Okay? And I'm not saying you spend time in the fridge. But the important thing is it has to be a reminder. Put the plan in. You have 8 weeks from now, the Ramadan starts. How you're going to make sure that your Salah is much better than the last year. And that has to be an objective of every Muslim. Nobody's perfect. We can never achieve perfection. So we can try different ways of engaging with the Salah and try to improve our attentiveness. But everything, the whole success lies in the plan. If we fail to plan, we plan to fail. Please do not plan to fail. Okay? Do something about it. And today's session, inshallah, by end of the day today, with this action plan, you should have something to look forward to in Ramadan, and you should make this as an objective of your life. Saying, yes, I will get these done by end of Ramadan, inshallah. And you start today. Do very small things every day. Bring it. And Allah Ta'ala and Prophet ﷺ said that he loves the consistency of the Muslimin, of the Mu'mineen. Anything done in a sudden reaction has a reward, but the real reward is in the ones that are consistent in a discipline. Muslims are supposed to be the most disciplined people. Okay. So, a few things about the techniques that we talked about, the neuro-linguistic programming. I'll refer to that as NLP or TPI as total physical interaction. The main focus will be on total physical interaction, which is we'll be using our hands, movement of our fingers and hands, and our arms, not the legs. Okay, arms, to get into the grammar of Salah. And the reason why, I'll explain that in a minute. Okay, inshallah. So, and simple thing is, you can listen to this session today, all 3 hours, showing that you are concentrating because you are looking and you're not asleep. If you are asleep, I won't wake you up. Don't do it. Okay? But nothing might go in your brain. Okay? Nothing might change your life. I don't want that to happen today. Okay? Second bit is, you are seeing, so you're listening and you're seeing, but the important thing is you need to engage. You need to make sure that you take notes. There are quite a few things we'll be going through. There will be some activities. Do remember, try to understand why we are doing things rather than what is happening. Because unless you continuously ask throughout today what you're learning, you actually will not get much. Okay? Okay. Has anybody ever used a mobile phone?
Rephrase that. I've never used a mobile phone.
Okay, I asked that for a reason, right? Okay, let's do it. Okay, just like that. Okay, so if I want to make a call, I'll turn it on, I'll dial the number or choose it from the context and I call them, numbers, dialing, ringing, and I talk to the person and the person responds. That's a normal expectation, right? What if I do all of those things and nothing happens? So I try to call them, it's not ringing. I try to speak, I speak but I can't listen to anyone. What could be the problem?
No reception.
No reception? Yes?
Bad phone.
Bad phone? Yes? What else?
Maybe their phone isn't working.
Maybe their phone is not working?
Wrong number.
Wrong number? Yes?
Maybe they don't want to speak to you.
Yes? Okay. Our Salah is a communication, a call to Allah Ta'ala. Right? Our Salah is not a practice. We get, Alhamdulillah, Allah Ta'ala is so generous that He has put reward in just following the practice. Even if we don't know a single word of Salah, if we just follow the practice by doing the physical actions, we still get the reward, Alhamdulillah. If there was anybody else, you would not like your trained person to do all those actions just for the sake of actions. Okay? The problem could be that the phone is turned off. So this phone is turned off, I'm trying to do all those things, and I'm doing all those things that I do when it's on, but it's not working. The connection is not made with Allah Ta'ala. If we don't know what we are doing in the salah, that means we don't have the connection, that means we are not getting the response. Now how does Allah Ta'ala talk to you? If it's a communication, if salah is a communication, how does Allah Ta'ala talk to you?
He listens.
Through?
He listens.
He listens, yes, and then how does he respond? Communication is always two ways. So I say something and something comes back.
Through action.
I do some action, how does Allah Ta'ala respond?
I think you do.
He gives satisfaction.
So he inspires something in my heart. All he needs is a connection from our heart. Try to understand what that means. If we are connecting with Allah Ta'ala and trying to make sure that there is a connection from the heart, that connection is so strong. If you try to engage your senses, try to make sure that you have all the senses engaged, meaning reading, listening, looking, all those things that you can think. Okay? If you can't do that, don't lose the practice. Okay? Minimum is the practice of doing the physical actions in a salah. Maximum, there is no limit. How you talk to Allah Ta'ala, that's salah. How He responds is through the heart. If the heart is a mirror and it's really dirty, and you try to look at it and try to see your image, would that be of any use? How do we cleanse a dirty mirror? You? We wipe it off. And our hearts, if it's marked with all the sins we do, Allah Ta'ala is also Rahim that He still makes us, He still lets us live our lives. Otherwise, if we was if we would just do justice, we would all be okay? It's His mercy that we are aiming for Jannah, inshallah. So we need to cleanse that mirror, that heart, which is dirty right now. How do we do it? With the discipline. How that discipline works, we'll talk about it in a minute. Please do remember this analogy about the mobile. Our phone, if it's turned off, even if you follow all the practices that you can think of, making a call, it won't make that call. Same if our salah does not have that meaning, that context, understanding, and that relationship with Allah Ta'ala, it's just a physical action. It actually is not making the call. Okay? Allah Ta'ala still, with His mercy, inspires us, but we can do much more. We have to do much more. So I'll skip that. Okay. So the message I just gave, the most important bit is do keep praying. Even if somebody or some of your friends you might know who are very sinful, they pray, and so there are some people I've heard recently, in Malaysia for example, some people have come up with the thought that, and you all know this hadith as well, when you pray Isha Jamaat, so for men especially, when they pray Isha Jamaat and the Fajr Jamaat, that is as if they prayed all night. Right? So even if they don't do a single bit of Tahajjud, they have been praying all night. Isha Jamaat and Fajr Jamaat. If you do just Isha Jamaat, you get half the reward. Half the night's reward, right? If you just do Fajr Jamaat, you can get half of the reward. So they came up with a new word definition. They said, okay, so we'll be in nightclubs all night, and before we come back home, we'll go to the Fajr Jamaat. So even though they were in the club, they will be counted as Fajr. The question comes up, who are you playing with? These are just excuses that everybody finds. And you would find, not that extreme, but some friends who pray and do all sorts of wrong things as well. Just encourage them to keep praying. Because this ayah reminds us of that most important thing. None of the righteous deeds will be lost. Allah Ta'ala takes care of each and every righteous good deed. Salah is the most important connection for that. Don't let them lose that connection. The moment your friends or your social network, if anybody is not praying, just encourage them to pray, even if they don't know what it means. Okay? The most important thing is to bring that discipline in. How we go to the next level, inshallah we'll do that in a video.
Just to add on that, how many of you have come across the fact that people say to you, we're praying and nothing is happening? Have you ever faced that?
Yes.
How many of you have been to a, I'm from Pakistan, so I've been, because my mom sent me, to get some rice. How many of you gone to get some rice You know one of those weighing scales that you used to have? Yeah? So if you had 20 kilos on one side and you wanted to get rice, yeah? And you started pouring rice on the other side, if you had 10 kilo of rice on this side, would this start to move? So what does that mean? He's not adding rice?
It's not adding enough.
When does the movement begin?
When it's ready there.
Right, so if you've got 20 kilos here, 17 kilos here, will it shift? When does it move?
When it's more than 20 kilos. When it's more than 20 kilos.
Or, shocking will never get more than 20 kilos together. You're
Not
not
20
20
kilos.
When it's even same.
When it gets about 19 to 19.5 kg, you see it starts shifting, yeah? And then the shopkeeper starts to get grains and puts it there so you don't get more than 20 kg, yeah? But the movement doesn't start before 19 kg, yeah? So the problem what we tend to do is, we do little, expect more. So we say, you know, straight out for Salah, you've asked for the world and then you pray for just suppose and that's all you think, nothing happened. You just started to put the rice in. So don't expect things to happen until you get to 19 kg. How you know that is when you get to 19 kg, you will see the movement. Yeah?
Okay, so let's play a quick game. I want to understand how you have you ever tried to work out, we talked about the planning with the engagement and trying to connect to Allah Ta'ala through the Salah. What is Salah? Salah is all content from the Quran, right? What is this? How can we make this happen that we get the connection through the Salah and then we try to understand and start understanding and engaging with the Quran? We have to plan something, right? Now, I've just shared these cards with you. So, let's just see what yours is. You would have some numbers. In a larger hall, we would have played it as an interactive game. But just, do you understand what the number means or what the word means? Okay, so let's pick up the first one, for example. Sister, what have you got?
I have
Double six, double six. Okay, so this is 6,666. What could be that from the Quran?
total number of ayahs.
Ayahs. So you have your prayer sister with you. So these are the number of ayahs. If you wanted to play that game, that we need to understand those numbers. Let's say sister number 7. Okay, how many ayahs in Surah Fatiha? 7. Okay, good. How many juz in the Quran? 30. Yes, juz some people call para as well. Okay. Does anybody know how many chapters? 114. Okay. Has anybody got the number of words? Oh yeah, it's 78,000. Yes, 78,000 words. So we're just trying to understand the different packaging that Quran comes in. Okay, we can structure it in different ways. There are 7 manazil. Very few people use those now. If you try to finish off the Quran in 7 days, also in 7 sections, you can do that. If you want to do it in 30 days, it's the juz. If you, and the 30 juz, right? If you do one surah a day, that will be interesting because Surah Baqarah is 286 ayahs and Surah Qasas is just 3 ayahs. So it will be interesting. But 114 surahs, then there are further breakdown. 6,666 ayahs, again an interesting number. What if you tried to do 1 ayah per day? Would that make sense? How long would it take? Have you tried to calculate? 6,666 days. How many days in a year? So approximately how many years? About 20 years. How do people do this? People are Hufaz in Quran, who know all these ayahs, they don't take 20 years. How does it work? And we're not trying to be Hufaz here, we're trying to understand it. So it's quite complex as well. We have to do a little bit of more of scientific approach. We can go down to the letters, about 320,000 letters. Should we go there? The definition, 28 letters. Those 28 letters produce all of these as combinations. If we try to find the real key to the Quran, there are very scientific and numerical ways to make sure that our approach is very practical. And we can do that in just 19 days. You can understand the whole half of the Quran in 19 days. We'll share those with you as well. Okay? So one another way is to find the frequencies of the, obviously,
Can't see it properly.
can't see. So one of the scientific approaches is to count the frequency of words and only choose the highest frequency words in the Quran, because there must be some repetition. We all know there is repetition. And in the Salah there is repetition as well. Does anybody know which word do we say the most in the Salah?
Allah.
Allahu Akbar? That's a candidate. It's not the one.
Allah.
Sorry?
Allah.
Allah is fine. Yeah, I'm talking about the proper word. A statement kind of thing. Bismillah we say very few times. Yeah, but I'm talking about a phrase.
Subhan.
Subhanallah, yes. Subhan, the word Subhan comes the maximum number of times in our Salah. Okay, so if we know the meaning of Subhan, we have a good start. Then we know Allahu Akbar, we are actually in very good shape because we know quite a lot of percentage. We have covered a lot of ground already. Okay? Fortunately or unfortunately, Arabic is so deep that if I try to explain Subhan, it might take a day. Okay, so in English you just translate as Allah the perfect. Subhanallah, Allah the perfect. Right? Subhan is perfect, free of defects, and it's impeccable. There are so many different definitions. You can't really translate that word. You can try to imagine. Okay? You imagine the best and the best of the best thing that you can imagine. You can say, okay, that's perfection. Okay. That won't be near the perfection of Allah. All we're doing in the Salah all the time is Subhana Rabbiyal Azim, Subhana Rabbiyal Ala, Subhanallah, Subhan, all those things. Even we start the Salah with Subhanakallah. Why is that? There must be a reason that this word has been placed in the Salah. It's all to do with what Dr. Khalid has shared. This. Because you imagine when things go wrong in life. Science cannot define what happiness is or what sadness is. Science cannot prove how you feel when you see, let's say even when you eat a strawberry. Science cannot define till this date how you would feel when you eat a strawberry as compared to when he eats a strawberry. It cannot be defined. Science cannot define what happiness is, and it doesn't measure it, that's why. Okay? You can have superficial measures around it, but the focus has to be, why has Allah Ta'ala created a soul? Because science does not even recognize the soul. Can you imagine, even in this age, there are about 200 definitions of death in medical science. But they really can't define death because they cannot prove that there is a soul. And we are starting from the soul because Subhanallah means Allah is perfect. When things go wrong, we still say Subhanallah and we say Alhamdulillah. Why? Because we know whatever is happening is only happening for our good. Okay? So we should never be in this state. Why? Because we have trust in Allah Ta'ala. We believe that there is somebody who is taking care of us. We can't see his footmarks when we are in trouble because he's carrying us at that point. Okay? The most important thing is to focus on Subhan. Allah Ta'ala is perfect and He will never let you down. It's only us with our actions and our rejection that we go into this sadness. Okay? And then Allahu Akbar. What does Akbar mean?
Great.
Okay, so comparative superlative forms in Arabic are Kabir. Yes?
Real literature and so forth.
Yes? So Kabir is big. Akbar is bigger. And Al Akbar is biggest. Okay, we will present inshallah. They're not walking over, they have another class. Yeah, please go ahead with your point. If you want to come here as well, this is all. Okay. So, we'll come to those and we'll go into some more details of these keywords, but we'll maintain this scientific method of using the highest frequency words and trying to match their images and their interaction with our lives in the next few hours. Okay, has anybody used Quran.com? Does anybody know there is a website called Quran.com? Do you know the easiest way to go to any ayah in the Quran? For example, chapter number 2, verse number 3, Surah Baqarah, 3rd ayah. It talks about Salah, establishment of Salah. All you have to do is say Quran.com/2/3, 2nd chapter, 3rd ayah. That's it. Whenever you're searching for it, it will give you all sorts of translations, all sorts of versions. You will be amazed how much information is in there. Root words of the Arabic, everything is there. If you just spend time on this ayah, you can spend actually about a day on this just one ayah on this website. You've got so much information on it. Okay? Whenever somebody quotes this to you, whenever somebody says read that ayah or gives you a reference, just open it up, read multiple translations. Why? Because even if you have read 10,000 translations of the Quran, you have not read the Quran. Quran is only in Arabic, which is the protected text. Translations are an aspect or a version of somebody's view. It's just like saying, my friend went to Switzerland and I want to go there as well, but when he comes back, he shows me the video and he just explains it to me and say, okay, I have been to Switzerland. Whatever happens, I will never be able to say, I have been to Switzerland. I can never feel that I have been to Switzerland. That's exactly what the Salah is. When we engage with the Quran in Arabic, nobody can explain what that is unless you do it yourself. The translations are there to help. Please do read them, but I would highly recommend read multiple translations. Never depend on one. Okay, because all ulama have with all due respect, they have all amazing knowledge and everything, but they are not perfect. Allah Ta'ala is perfect, and that is in Arabic. Okay? So, this ayah, we have read it so many times. We start reading the Quran, we say Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alif Lam Mim, Zalikal Kitabu La Raiba Fihi Hudan lil Muttaqin. Right? What is a book in Arabic? Kitab. So if I want to say that book, what would I say? Zalika Kitabun or Zalika al-Kitabun. Okay, Zalika al-Kitab. Allah Ta'ala said Zalika al-Kitabun. That book.
mean this.
Zalika is that.
That book.
Okay, al-Kitab is that. So Haza is this, Zalika is that. Okay, do remember that. Haza is this, Zalika is that. Now, why would Allah Ta'ala say Zalika al-Kitabu when I am reading this Quran, let's say. So this is Quran and I am reading it, it's in my hands. I have opened Surah Baqarah and I am reading Zalika al-Kitabu. Quran is in my hands and saying Zalika al-Kitabu.
Because Allah is talking about the Quran.
Yes. Please do remember, Zalika is not. So if it was contextual about that Quran, it would be Hazal Kitab. It's not. It's Zalika. That is in Lawh Mahfuz. That's protected. Nobody can ever change that, even a single letter in that. Okay? So when non-Muslims say, we can change this and do, let them try. It will never happen because Allah Ta'ala has protected. Okay? It's present in Lawh Mahfuz. So the ayah says, who believe in the ghaib and perform as-salah and spend out of what they are provided for, what we have provided for them. Now, translations, if you see, I just wanted to highlight one thing here. What does this say? Perform as-salah. Right? It's a very famous translation by Mohsin Khan. Right? Now, what does this word mean? What does it say? Yuqimun as-salat. To establish the salah. Where is the word establish in the translation? Yes. Performance of the salah and establishment of the salah are two different things. In this context, In that, this version of the translation is perfectly fine. We can't doubt that. But original text says establishment of source. So you should always focus on there is more to what the translation tells you. Okay? Do keep that in mind. A nice statement that I came across recently is a body without the heart and a soul without the Quran is actually like this. Okay? Body cannot perform. So there are two things, physical and spiritual. Okay? Physical, we feed our body all the time with junk and all sorts of things. We talked about the junk food earlier, right? The important thing to notice is we do not feed our soul. If we are, especially Muslims of this time who are just performing practices of Islam, we are not really fulfilling the requirements of spiritual healing, spiritual feeding of our soul. Why? Because we do not consider soul as important. We feel that our tummy or our physical being is more important. It's not. When Prophet Abraham was about to leave his family in the desert, almost nowhere, there was no water, nothing. The dua he made was, "Oh Allah, help them spiritually." You can go to the translation later on. I'll actually share the links with you as well. The important thing is, even though he knew there was no food, there was no water, but the dua he made for that young Prophet Ismail and his wife was, "Oh Allah, maintain that connection." Yes. Now, can you define the word Islam?
Submission.
Yes, submission or peace.
Yes. So, standard definition will say peace. Oh, Islam is peace, man. Islam is peace. It's just a thin translation, I would say. Most of the translations we have are thin translations for common people. Muslims are not common people. Muslims are blessed people who need to think. Allah Ta'ala has made us to think. Think for our purpose of life, how we interact with our community, and how we add value to the community, and how we continuously improve while maintaining our submission to Allah Ta'ala. So it can't just mean peace. There are 5 key words in the word Islam. The salama word, the root word is salama. We'll go through that. I'll show you a nice video that Brother Yusuf Estes has recently done. I actually, when you watch the full video, inshallah, later on, that brought tears to my eyes actually on how deprived we are by not knowing the real message.
And finally, to be in peace, simple thing, your heart. Psychics and magic and all. Right there, buddy, in the heart. Because nobody can play with your heart. That's yours. You own it. It's yours. You can do whatever you want with it. It is yours. Right? Yes. That's the one thing nobody can imprison. They can lock me in a prison, put me in a box, throw me in the ocean, but they can't control this. That's mine. That's yours. You own it. So if you get inside of that heart, like I did, and clean it out and throw all the trash and the garbage out of there, throw the lies out of there, the misconceptions, the prejudice, and just give it all up and say, you know what? I belong to God. I just belong to God. God, guide me. And that's what I did. And when I did that, I had this strange impression I need to put my head on the ground. And so I did that. With my head on the ground, I said these words, Gabriel. Oh God, if you're there, guide me. And when I got up, I realized something. I'm the one with the problem. The world's not the problem. I was the problem. And from that day to this day, 19 years, I'm saying the same thing every day, 17 times a day. Ihdina Siratal Mustaqim, guide us to the straight path. Ihdina Siratal Mustaqim, guide us to the straight path. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm not psychic, and we don't believe in psychics and magic and all that stuff. We don't. But I'm going to tell you something. And now you brothers and sisters, are going to see something strange. Because Gabriel and I never met. We're not setting this up. He doesn't even know what I'm going to say. But Gabriel, you've been praying in your heart, asking God to guide you, or you wouldn't be standing there right now. Is that true or false?
That is true.
There you go. There's your verification. He said that's true. And I know it because I've been through this again and again and again. Thousands of people I watch come to Islam again and again, just like Gabriel. They're looking for truth. They're not looking for Islam. They're not looking for the Quran. They're just looking for truth, real truth. And because there's only one God and only one way to get to God, it has to be on His terms, and there's only one way. And we said it in the Dina, in the Lahi, Islam. The only thing Allah wants from you is this simple thing, your heart. That's what He wants. Give Him your heart, and everything else will be fine. And how you do that? I'm going to give you 5 words in the English language. They have to be all at the same time. Surrender, submission, obedience, sincerity, and peace. Do you want those things in your life?
Yes, sir.
I do too. Everybody in this room wants those things. All at the same time though. Surrender, submission, obedience to His commandments. You know the 10 commandments. We got the same thing. It's the same thing. It's not a new religion. And then sincerity. To be sincere. No lies, no showing off, no riyah, for Allah only. And finally, to be in peace with whatever He gives you. Say, okay, thank you. Even if you like it, thank you. If you don't like it, thank you. Anyway, because it's from Him. Be in peace with it. This word in Arabic is one. Takes 5 words in English. You know what the word is in Arabic?
No.
Islam.
Really?
That's the word.
So after this, he accepted Islam. Okay, so it's not that simple. Right? Islam, it's just one word, can take such an emotional relationship into the whole community. So this was a live session, and it has a very strong impact on our heart. So let's dive into the Surah Fatiha, inshallah, and we'll take a break in about 20-25 minutes. Is that okay? Everybody feeling okay? If you're feeling sleepy, we can take a break now.
Yeah.
No? Yes. So, now this is the interactive Arabic part. Inshallah. Now, who knows about this?
Translation of Surah Fatiha.
Yeah.
There's 7 ayat and 3 just for Allah and 3 for our humans, and the between 4th one is half belongs to Allah and half.
Yeah.
So I have a sister who'd like to join us, is that right?
Yes.
I think that's the same as I was saying. The first part is in praise of Allah, and the second part is what we ask.
Yes. Now, Surah Fatiha and different ulama all are right. They all consider that Surah Fatiha has 7 ayahs. Some consider Bismillah as part of Surah Fatiha, and some consider not. Irrespective of the case, the result is 7 ayahs, because those who say Bismillah is not part of Surah Fatiha, they divide the last ayah into 2 parts. And those who do, they combine them. So it's very simple. The 7 ayahs in Surah Fatiha are a communication with Allah Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala actually talks to us with every ayah. What we say is one thing, and then we have to wait. How would you feel when I'm talking to you and say, Assalamu alaikum sister, how are you? And I don't give you time to respond, I keep going, so how is everything, and this, and just go. This is a manner, right? A norm of our relationship with others. That's the communication standard. We don't fulfill that with Allah Ta'ala, our Creator. How can we be just to ourselves with that? it's very important to understand that in Surah Fatiha, within the Salah, in every rakah of every Salah, you imagine 17 minimum rakahs of Faraid in a day. 17 times Surah Fatiha we recite, and 17 times we forget that we are talking to Allah. Astaghfirullah. Allah Ta'ala responds. I'll share that this is an authentic hadith. I'll give you the reference as well. Allah Ta'ala, the example, said, I have divided the prayer into two halves between me and my servant. And this is from Sahih Muslim and Sunan al-Nisa. Right? So, okay. So first bit, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Before we go in there, let's do a quick exercise. Let's see who's up and running. Okay, right hand. Okay, raise your right hand a little bit. Okay, and use one finger, just like Shahada, one on the right, and turn it to the right. Okay, don't hit the next person. And to the right. Everybody, yes. Okay. If you don't know what I mean, look to the next person next to you. Okay? Do this. This is huwa. Say huwa. Huwa means he. So if I'm talking about that person, I would say huwa. Okay? Remember that. Huwa, you have to make the sign as well. I'll explain why. The total physical interaction, right? Huwa is he. And now if I want to say many brothers, I'll use four fingers. Okay, same way to the right. Hum. Okay, so I said huwa, he. Yes, just say out loud with me. Huwa, he. Hum, they. Okay, huwa, he. Hum, they. What does they mean? How do you say they in Arabic? Yes. How do you say it in Arabic? Hum. Okay, huwa, he, hum, they. Okay, remember that. Come back to the second bit. Okay, huwa and hum. Right? Okay. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. The interesting bit about Surah Fatiha is, it is one of the simplest surah of the whole Quran. And Prophet Muhammad in one of the hadiths he said, Surah Fatiha is the Quran. The Quran, that's it. What does that mean? It is?
In the reply of the surah.
Yes. You imagine when we are having a communication with Allah Ta'ala, in the end Allah Ta'ala says something which we'll go to in a minute. But it's the whole crux of our life. All the things we've been talking about, the iceberg you saw and everything. Why are we here? The reason. Surah Fatiha answers that. Because nobody knows the exact answer apart from Allah Ta'ala. We can follow the sunnah, keep asking for Allah Ta'ala's help, and keep moving on a path. Which path is it? We'll talk about it in a minute. Okay, what does al mean in Arabic? Okay, what's the difference between this, if this is a book, this is the book, I know I'm talking about a specific book. If I said a book, would that be in this room? It could be. It could be in another part of the world. A book is indefinite. When you add al to something, it makes it definite, very specific. There is a hamd, a praise could be of any sort. We are talking about the praise, very specific one, which Allah knows. We are saying alhamdu, lillahi. The praise belongs to Allah. Lillahi, belonging to Allah. Rabbil Alameen. Rabb is got many meanings as well. For us right now, it's the Lord. And Alameen. Many people have reverted to Islam just by reciting this ayah. Why? They couldn't go beyond this. This is the first ayah of the Quran. You give them a copy, right? Somebody giving on a street and passing by, and most of the people say, don't disturb me. Some people do take them. Those who do, sometimes they read it as well, unless they forget it in the bus. Okay? So, those who have read it, they have said, the only reason we started reading was, we started looking at the Quran and said, where's the author? The book doesn't say where is the author. Second, the Quran opens up and says Surah Fatiha, and in the second page it says La Rayba Fi. Surah Baqarah, La Rayba Fi. There is no doubt. There is no book on this earth that can claim that. That a book has no doubts. Generally there are some confusions that I have left with all these, you see the Darwinian theories and everything, you always have these clarifications or assumptions in place. Quran says no doubt. Reading this, how can people convert to Islam just because of this? What would be the reason? What is in there? This is so simple. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praises and thanks be to Allah, the Lord of the world.
Praise the Creator.
So why would anybody be interested in that? They might have.
It shows the depth of what is, rather than just saying of the world, because most of us would just think of
Exactly,
this world as
exactly. We focus on this one. This is a plural. Alameen, it's a plural of alam. Alam is one, alameen is multiple. And most of the people you talk to, they will say, yes, so you talk about world, they'll say, yeah, earth. World, earth is equivalent, right? For us, there could be infinite number of worlds. Okay, and the word world is a translation of alameen. You can't really translate alam again. Alam is a very deep word. So alameen, worlds, meaning now and hereafter, it could be multiple worlds that are happening in parallel right now, we don't know. Allah knows. Right? So if you have an inquisitive mind, you can pick those things up. Try to pick those things up and try to relate those. And that will create the connection. The attentiveness in the salah comes through such things. When you say that word, why are you in a hurry? You imagine, you put something on the stove, say okay, so this will be ready in about 5-10 minutes, let's say. I'll quickly do the wudu and do the salah and then come back and finish the cooking. Alright? Or you could say, okay, bad example, but let me just quickly go and have a cigarette and I'll come back and do the salah. Okay? Or anything related to the worldly activities. Can you compare any of those? You imagine you're talking to the Creator, Allah Ta'ala, that deserves a lot of preparation, and you are preparing by and make excuses. We prepare our salahs with excuses. How can we have attention in the salah when we have excuses all the way? We don't do the wudu with full attention. If we do not prepare. So we are again going to a wedding, for example. We take hours to get ready. Men might just stand up and go, but they still, right now, at this point, men take more time than women. Okay, things have changed. But the bottom line is, the time we take to prepare for a wedding, why? Because others will look at us. So we wear nice clothes, we wear perfume, whatever, get ready and clean, and we are just worried about people and the worldly life, and we are not worried about the Creator in the salah. The most important meeting that we have is with Allah Ta'ala, and we prepare the least for that. Okay? So try to change the preparations a little bit. Okay. Second bit, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Many people have written encyclopedias on just these two words. It cannot be defined. As simple as that. It is part of Bismillah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, right? Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. If you don't know the meaning of Bismillah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, look it up as well. Bi-ism, in the name Allah, Bismillah. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. The most gracious, the most merciful, right? Can we limit? This Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim is a infinitum, as they call it. You cannot define the limits of mercy of Allah Ta'ala, the graciousness of Allah Ta'ala. Okay? Everybody will have a different perception on the meaning that they take out of it. Okay? Try to come up with a meaning that resonates most with you. Quick exercise. What was this? Huwa. What does that mean? Good. I have two. Okay. Next one is Anta. I'm building a table of 6 first, right? Anta, you. Antum, you all. Think about the signs I'm making. Huwa, whom, anta, antum, right? Anta, you, antum, you all. Single, plural, right? Anta, antum. Let's do it together. Huwa, he, whom, they, anta, you, antum, you all. Huwa, he, whom, they, anta, you, antum, you all. We have to make the signs, otherwise it won't go in. I'm telling you now, because we are reverse engineering the grammar into our hands. This is a total physical interaction method. Okay? Huwa, whom, anta, antum. By end of this session, by the 3 hours inshallah, you should know some basic grammar that you can interact with the Quran directly. These are all the words from the Quran, by the way. I'm not teaching you any other Arabic. Okay? And these are some of the most frequent ones as well. Okay. Maliki Yawmiddin. Malik. What does Malak mean? Malak is king? No?
Yes.
So if I just say Mim Lam Ke without any harakas, what words can we make out of it? It could be mulk, it could be milk, not the English one. It could be malak, right? Malak is what does malaika mean? Angels, very good. So malaika is plural of malak, and malak is angel, right? Do try to find your own meanings by saying it looks like a plural, because un or in makes things plural in Arabic. Okay, we had al. Remember what was al? It made it definite, which meaning the, made it very specific. Then we said huwa, hum, anta, antum, right? He, they, you all. Now, if I wanted to say he, the angel, what would I say? Huwa? Malak. Very good. Huwa Malak. Huwa Malak means he is an angel. These brothers could be angels as well. Okay? Okay. Maliki Yawm. What does Yawm mean? Yawm is a day, right? So what does Ayyamut Tashriq mean around Hajj time? There are 3 days of Tashriq, right? Ayyamut Tashriq. The days of Tashriq, right? Don't go into that detail, it's a bit complex, but Ayyam is the plural of Yawm, right? When Ayyam or Yawm comes in, you should know it's something to do with the day. If I said Al Yawm, what would that be? It also means today. Al Yawm means the day or today. Okay. Now the last, so Yawm al-Deen. What does Yawm al-Deen mean? You said Islam is the Deen. Why isn't it a religion? Is it a Deen or a religion?
It's a deen.
And what does Deen mean? A way of life. So it covers everything. Everything in our lives, not only our personal lives, the social lives, the spiritual lives, the married life, the economics and the finance, everything. That's why it's a system. That's why it's a threat. Because it tries to challenge all the status quo that we have right now, especially the capitalism. Okay? We can have a full talk on that later on, Islamic economics, but that's a separate topic. Ad-Deen, the day of Ad-Deen has multiple meanings. Okay? One of them is judgment. Okay? Now,
So when we say, sorry, I'm interrupting.
Yes.
When we say Islam is a deen,
yes,
so what is the literal meaning of that deen?
that is the way of life.
A way of life.
Yes.
That's the literal meaning of the word deen.
Yeah, deen, that. And again, in Arabic, depending on the context, the meaning of the word changes. For example, that prohibited word right now has many good meanings. We'll talk about it later. Okay, Master of the Day of Judgment. Now, we skipped 3 things So we did 3, right? Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, right? 3 ayahs. What did we say in the start?
It's divided.
It's divided into 2 parts. Okay? So when we say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, what does Allah say? Did we give him time to respond? Did we listen? He did respond, we didn't give ourselves time to listen. We have to pause. In the Salah, unless you pause, you will not really create that connection. That heart will not get connected at all. You can write it down. There is a critical need for you to create a pause after each ayah in Surah Fatiha. That's the most important action we need to take from today. Right? And you can take the notes on your action plan if you think that is what works for you. Allah Ta'ala says, when we say Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, we say, praise be to Allah, the cherisher and sustainer of the worlds. And what does Allah Ta'ala respond with? No. Allah Ta'ala says, my servant has praised me. Hamadni Abdi. Allah Ta'ala says, Hamadni Abdi. My slave has praised me. Okay? Now you imagine, if you don't give the pause, Allah Ta'ala said that. Allah Ta'ala says that to everybody who recites Surah Fatiha. We don't listen. When we don't listen, we don't feel the happiness. And ultimately this happens. We say, my life is a big mess. And they get all these antidepressants, very famous, useless things. All you need is focus. And you need to sort out your soul. Everything will be sorted as well later on. Now, second bit, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. When we say the most gracious, the most merciful, Allah Ta'ala says, my servant has exalted me. So first he said, my servant has praised me. Then he says, my servant has exalted me. Okay? Third one. Maliki Yawmiddin, my master of the day of judgment. When we say master of the day of judgment, Allah Ta'ala says, my servant has glorified me. Praised me, then exalted me, and then glorified me. All 3 things only for Allah Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala is saying yes, and Allah Ta'ala loves this. When you say this, Allah Ta'ala loves those statements, that's why He is responding. And He is preparing for something, for later part of the surah. Okay? Then when we say, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, we actually should be ashamed of ourselves the way we say it. You imagine the submission we have in this ayah. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. This is almost within this there is communication. We are saying Iyyaka, in only you, na'budu, we are slaves of. Iyyaka, only you, nasta'in, we ask for help. Now, if we are sincerely mean that, would we ever go and ask others for help? Would we ever depend on others other than Allah Ta'ala? But we do, because we don't focus on this. I think this is this has to be the turning point of any Muslim. If we understand this properly and implement it, you imagine, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. This is what we are saying. This is the middle of the surah. And what did we say in the last 3 statements? Allah Ta'ala responded by saying, we are praising Allah Ta'ala, we are glorifying Him, we are exalting Him, and now we are saying, you are so great, you alone we are slaves of, and you alone we call on for help. Yes?
So how does that sit with kind of, as I understand it, kind of self-reliance is almost bordering on arrogance,
Yes.
and if we don't somehow kind of commune and connect with our ummah, then we're at default, or we're deficient there as well. So I can understand that primarily we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help,
Yes.
but then in this dunya, I can't see that we wouldn't ask, a fellow sister for some help here and there.
Yes, okay.
Yeah?
So think about it in this way. Can anybody else help you unless Allah wills?
No.
No, right? So where should we start?
I understand. So right, okay. So
we have to ask Allah Ta'ala first. In in our mind, if I'm going to ask you, brother, can you give me this pen? Can you do it now? And he gives it to me. If I had started with the right intention, it would be, oh Allah, I need help, I need a pen. I'll do whatever I can, the best of my ability to get it. If I can't, I can ask around. Okay? Again, it's very deep. You have to think about it spiritually. We have to depend on Allah Ta'ala on everything. So, the concept of tawakkul would come in, and taqwa would come in. And those things are so ingrained in the whole of Quran that you will really be amazed. You just search for the word taqwa in the Quran and you will see how many times it comes out. It's more than Salah, it's more than all 5 pillars of Islam. And it's not a pillar of Islam, because it's crux of everything. If you want to do one thing, it's taqwa. Right? And taqwa is, again, expands into all the pillars. Okay? And taqwa is all reliance of Allah Ta'ala for everything. On Allah Ta'ala for everything. Now, when we say Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'een, Allah Ta'ala, so we are saying you alone we worship and you alone we ask for help. What does Allah Ta'ala say? We have the answer down there. This is between me and my servant. You imagine, Allah Ta'ala is so happy that I have said, you are amazing, I need your help. Allah Ta'ala says, okay.
I think the problem was I actually took you literally.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's what we do when we read the translations as well. That's why we need to learn the Arabic. It's much deeper than the translation. Okay? Now, so this is between me and my servant shall have what he has asked for. Have we asked for anything yet? In the Salah, we haven't asked for anything yet. You imagine Allah Ta'ala is going to fulfill what we are going to say because He knows what we are going to say. Just by following the protocol that He has given us, we have exalted Him so much, and we are saying we rely on you. He says, you'll get what you want. And we'll see the connection in the ruku. When we are coming back from the ruku, I'll explain what that means. Okay. Now comes the second part of the surah, which is, first was for Allah, right? 50% of the surah was for Allah Ta'ala, and second 50% is for the servant, for us, right? What is this? Okay, quick reminder. What was huwa? Whom? They. Anta, you. You all. What is ana? Yeah, the pointing tells you, right? So that's the next part of the table, the fifth one. Ana, I. And all of us? Nahnu. Right? Huwa, whom, anta, antum, ana, nahnu. Okay? Huwa, he, whom, they. Anta, you, antum, you all. Ana, I, nahnu, we. Okay, let's do that quickly together. Huwa, he, whom, they. Anta, you. Antum, you all. Ana, I. Nahnu, we. Ana, I. Nahnu, we. Okay.
What was the last one? Sorry, can you say again?
Nahnu.
Nahnu.
Nun, he, nun, ha. What does this mean? The first word. Ihdina. What does ihdi mean?
God.
So in Arabic, when you have a alif like this, and it's a bit complex than what I'm explaining right now, but just to give you an idea, if I want you to do something, I would say ifal. Ifal. Do. I'm ordering you. So you say to your child, sit up. Ijlis. Right? Now, if you say the same statement to an elder, how would you say it in English?
Can you please?
Can you please sit down, right? You won't say, sit up, right? So we are talking to Allah Ta'ala, right? And we are asking for something. Ihdi na. Guide us. So translation would be, please guide us. Right? Ihdi na. If it was just for me, personally, it will be ihdi. Alif, ha, dal, ya. That will be me. Guide me. We are not asking for guidance for myself only because it will not work. We are asked, it's a social, Islam is such a social religion that it all, so you make a dua for yourself and it's limited. When I make the same dua for my brother or anybody, any sisters, I get double the reward. Why? If I want something, I make a dua for you, that you get. Because all the angels will be making dua on my behalf to Allah Ta'ala or the same thing. What else do you want? Why would you ever want something for yourself only? Whenever you need, so try it. When you need something, just ask for the same thing for your friend who might need it as well. For example, if you need Iman, a stronger Iman, understanding of Salah, Arabic, whatever, they say, oh Allah, please give my friend that. The angels will make dua for you and you get double benefit. And it reduces the hasad, jealousy and everything else. If you need a new car, what should you do?
Ask for your friends as well.
Make dua for you. Okay, so that reduces jealousy. Ihdina. Why are we saying Ihdina? Because Islam, if you can't practice Islam individually, it is bound to have an impact on the people around you. How would that impact be created? When we make that dua. The moment I say Ihdina, I've gone away from personal, that means the angels are making dua for us as well. So all of us, double the reward. Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. Now sirat. What does sirat mean? Everybody, most of you have done science, hopefully, or you must have seen your children do science. There is a concept called displacement.
Yes.
What is displacement?
So for instance, you put a stone in a glass of water and it will move.
Oh, so that displacement of volume of something else. I'm talking about the displacement between these two. Shortest distance between 2 points. Shortest distance between 2 points. From here to here, I can go very long routes or I can go directly. If I go directly, that's the shortest path. Right? Sirat is that straight path. Right? As-sirat is, we are very focused that we are talking about a very specific path. We are asking Allah Ta'ala for a very specific path. So we are saying, guide us to the path, which is, now, mustaqim. Has anybody word, you must have come across this, istiqama. Istiqamat in perseverance. Right? Istiqama is your persistence, your perseverance, you're making sure that you are following a direction strongly, a straight path. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim, guide us to the straight path. Okay? How does it make up? We'll go into a table in a minute for the Arabic, but huwa, hum, anta, antum, ana, nahnu, right? Nahnu, remember that because I'm going to take a test. Okay. So, when we say this, and to clarify that we are talking about a specific path, we even clarify further. Allah Ta'ala has told us so this is an ideal way of asking. Till this point, we have not asked for any satisfaction, any money, anything else. You just ask for one thing, which is guidance. That's it. Salah itself is just guidance. And that's exactly what we need. We do not really need the money, we need the guidance. Money will help us stay guided. Okay, there's no harm in having a lot of money, but money should not be everything. Right? Sirat al-lazina anamta. Where did sirat come earlier? Ihdinas sirat. Where was that sirat? What does sirat mean? Shortest path. Or the path. Right? Sirat has come again. You know the meaning already. Al-lazina. Now, al-lazi or al-lazina in Quran it comes quite a lot, actually, I think more than 1,000 times. It's a very important word to remember. I'll share these with you later on as well. It gives you a summary of, or a list of all the words that are repeated multiple times. So, al-lazi comes 304 times. And Yeah, so we will come to that inshallah. Now, an'amta. Has anybody heard about the word ni'mah? What is ni'mah?
Blessing.
Yes.
Blessing, right? An'amta. So ni'mah and an'am. There is any relationship?
Favour.
Singular and plural. Okay? It's a plural. So an'am. Now favors. Instead of favor, it is favors. Okay, very specific dua. You imagine this is an amazing dua. It covers everything. Whatever you can even imagine thinking of asking from Allah Ta'ala, you become wise, you try your best. Ultimately you will reach this dua. What we are making now. Because ultimately it's just the guidance we need. If I need money and it's not good for me, I don't need that. If I want power, if it's not good for me, I don't need that. Ultimately we'll say, okay, so what should I ask for? Okay, I'll ask for guidance. And guidance covers everything. So you might give me power, money and everything as part of that guidance. Okay? Please do remember that this guidance is the key dua that we need to make. Okay? And the next one is alayhim. Now, we complete the table. Huwa, he, whom, they, anta, you, antum, you all, ana, I, nahnu, we. Right? After the break, we'll go into the same bits, but when they come with the words like kitab, for example. So now I'm talking about a person, right? He, they, you all, I, we. Now we'll be talking about the ownership of these things. So if a person owns this book, it will be kitabuhu. Kitabuhu, same signs, but the meaning will be different. Kitabuhu, kitabuhum, kitabuka, kitabukum, kitabi, and kitabuna. And you'll come to alayhim as well, because the second word I said was kitabuhu, kitabuhum. This is alayhi, alayhim. It's same pattern. We'll come to that inshallah in a minute. Now, anamta. Now, what have we said till now? We asked for guidance, and we said path of those whom you have favored. We don't know which path is it. We don't know exactly what it is, but we're saying, oh Allah, guide us to the path and only to the path of those who you like. Do we want to make it more specific? We can, which we're going to do now. Next one. And not of those who have gone astray or earned your wrath. Two types of people in this world. One who know and do wrong things, who know the right thing and still don't do it, and the other people who don't know and are on the wrong path. Both people are covered in this world. If we don't know and we are doing something wrong, please protect us. If we do know and we are still doing something wrong, please protect us as well. So it's complete coverage of every sin we have. Alhamdulillah. The guidance we are asking for these last, so the three things we have just discussed. Guide us to the right path, path of those whom you have favored, not of those who have gone astray or earned your wrath. Very clear definition of what we want, and Allah Ta'ala responds by saying, this is for my servant and my servant shall have what he has asked for. This is exactly what we want. And Allah Ta'ala says that with, obviously He is saying it, so you do it. That's why in the start I said, when you see your friends praying or yourself praying and you're not correcting your life, or not doing all the right things, you're still sinning, don't stop praying. The prayer is always responded. We looked at the ayah as well. Allah Ta'ala always responds. He will always reward each and every good deed we do. So never be in doubt of that. The important thing to focus on is, when we ask for guidance, we will get it. When we get it, it's Allah's decision. So important thing to notice for ourselves is, if Salah is not taking us away from shamelessness, from anger, from ill discipline, from all those things, it's not the Salah's fault. It's the quality of, it's the attentiveness in the Salah's fault. We don't have the attention, we don't have the preparation, we don't have the right ingredients. We will get it ultimately, but it will be delayed. You want to get it early? Improve your salah. Okay? What's the time now? 11:40. Okay, let's have a 10-minute break. But in this 10 minutes, you won't just have a tea or coffee or something. You're going to fill these sheets up and make a plan. Whatever we have discussed till now, the first two bits here. The first part, which is preparation for the salah and concentration in the recitation. Make an action, write something down, what you're going to change after today's session. Very small thing, just say, I'll give you an example. I'll add 2 seconds of pause after every ayah in Surah Fatiha from now on, making sure that never again in my life I will just recite Surah Fatiha like this. No. You have to stop after every ayah. Okay? So that could be an example. You might have taken some other message, but just write those down and we will make other people accountable for it as well, inshallah. Okay? So we'll start inshallah at 12. And if there are any questions, we can have that in the break. So, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. When we said all of that, Allah Ta'ala responded by saying, This is for my servant, and he will get, and he shall have what he has asked for. All we did was we asked. We are standing at a crossroad all the time in our life, in our daily life, and we try to find which way is right. Only Allah knows. We ask Allah Ta'ala for guidance and take those steps. Okay? Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Okay? Now, key.
Sorry, I think we miss what Allah's response is for 5th and 6th ayah.
There I combined them. So all three.
All three of
All three is this recitation. Okay? Now, next one. Other sisters have seen this many times, so you can relax. Okay? The key analogy. Now, how many of you have seen a key? Do you know what key is in Arabic? Sister would know, right? Not chabi. Miftah. Okay. Miftah.
What is it again, sorry?
Miftah. Just like Muftah. Yes, Miftah. Okay. Miftahun. Mim, fa, ta, alif, ha. No, H. Ha. Miftahun. This is a miftah. Right? This is a normal Fusha Arabic. The standard Arabic. Different dialects of different parts of the world. Arabic has different words for this, but I'm talking about the standard Arabic. Okay, it's called MSA, Modern Standard Arabic. Now, Miftahun. Right? Now, this is the door. In Arabic, this is Babun. Okay? Bab, not Bab. This is Bab. For those who know Urdu, Bab is father. Okay?
But in Urdu, Bab.
Yes, Bab is a chapter. And a chapter, yes. Okay. So, Bab is a door. So, door has a state, right? It's either in this state or in this state. So, if it's this right now, what's the state? The door is closed. In Arabic, it would be Babun Mughlaqun. Right? Or Al-Babu Mughlaqun. The door is closed. Mughlaq is closed. And to open, so an open door would be Al-Babu Maftuhun. Okay, now the door is in that open state. It's called Babun Al-Babu Maftuhun. The door is open. Okay. Remember that. What was the closed one? Al-Babu Mughlaqun and Al-Babu Maftuhun. Right? What was this? Miftahun. Miftahun and the door is Maftuhun. So the key was miftahun, and the door, if it's open, is called maftuhun. Okay, open is maftuh. So it takes time, don't worry. Okay. Now, if I use this key to open it or unlock it, what did I do? I used this miftahun to make the door maftuhun. Try to keep that connection because we're going to connect it to something else. I'm going to use this miftahun to make the door maftuhun. A miftah makes the door maftuh. Okay? I am opening the door. I am a masculine, I am opening the door. I am called Fateh of this door right now. Because I opened it, so I am the Fateh. So three things, right? Miftahun is used to make the door maftuhun, and a Fateh uses it. Or we can say a Fateh uses the miftah to do maftuh. Fateh uses a miftah to make the door maftuh. Try to understand what I am saying, and I am going to relate that directly to the Quran. A Fateh is going to use a miftah to make the door maftuh. What if it was a sister in my place? There was a sister in my place. A Fatiha. In Arabic, if you see a ha in the end or a ta marbut, that means like Fatima or Fatima too. It's all describes that it's a feminine name. So if Fatima was here, I'm not if anybody is Fatima, apologies. If Fatima is here and she opens the door, so she is the Fatiha of the door. Rest of the things are same. Fatima is the Fatiha, and she uses a miftah to make the door maftuh. Sequence makes sense, right? The Fatiha use something to do something. Use the key to open the door. Fatiha is the key to open the door. Where is Fatiha in the Quran? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Why is Surah Fatiha called the key? It's called Al-Fatiha. Opens the door to the Quran. It serves as a door to the Quran. Right? Actually, it opens the door to the world. Why? Why is it called the key? It's not just that. It's not just that it's the first surah of the Quran. There is deeper meaning of that. That's the thin translation. There is a deeper translation. Think about it, the name has been given for a very strong reason.
Yes, in Quran is the response of the dua we did to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yes.
So He showed us the right path.
Yes.
This is the path you're asking me. We want to come on the right path, follow this way.
Exactly. When we do the surah, so let's say you open the Quran, read the surah Fatiha first page, go to the next page. Immediately you open the door, the whole world is open for you, meaning all the surahs are there for you to get the guidance. An analogy, for example. So for example, one of you, think about it, imagine in your mind, you are in this room and a cat was also in this room. I'm not saying you're afraid, otherwise you'll be on the table. But let's assume you're not afraid. A cat is there and you are here. Right? Both of you hear a fire alarm. How do you respond? You open the door and run away, right? Okay. Is there... So the first response would be open the door. What would be the second response?
See where the car is.
Look for what? Fire alarm, you can listen to this, but you don't have to look for fire alarm. Yes, exit, or would there be something on the wall?
Indications.
Signs. You're looking for signs, right? What kind of signs are they? What color? You need to go on a safety course. It's always in green. It's a standard. Always in green. Specific words mentioned or pictures mentioned generally. Now, they tell us which direction to take in case of emergency when there is fire. Right? Now, if you are taking that sign, so you heard a fire alarm, you immediately looked for the door, you opened the door and you looked at the signs. You tried to follow those signs and also looked at other people who were running and following the same signs. Right? If there was a child alongside or somebody else struggling, you would help them and take them along as well. What about the cat? Not your cat. Sorry? Somebody else's cat.
Sorry, Stephanie.
It doesn't matter.
Very good. What should the cat do?
One. I don't know where to go.
A cat does not know where to go. A cat does not know that the door can be opened with a handle. Even if it knows, it can't. Unless you train it very well. Okay? Then it walks out. For example, everybody's run away, left the door. They did the worst possible thing by leaving the cat there. Being a Muslim, we have to take care of animals as well. Okay? She goes out, she sees people running. Are they mad? Why? Is there a marathon going on? She can't read the signs. The green things are telling her. She sees the signs. Same thing, doesn't do anything. People go out and save themselves, the cat dies, for example. Is there a difference between that cat and us if we don't read and understand the Quran? Quran has all the same things in them. Surah Fatiha is the door opening, so alarm is already there. Because Allah Ta'ala said in Surah Asr, Wal Asr, the time is running out. So the alarm is off already. It's a very short time we have. We don't know, I might die right now. Okay? Surah Fatiha is the opening of the door. You open the door, meaning open the Quran, and you see the signs. Where do you see the signs? In the Quran. Try to see the thick value or the thick understanding, deeper meaning of those words in the Quran. Quran is a book of signs, it's not a book of science. People think it's a book of science, it's not. There are some scientific facts in there, but that's not the major topic. It's the book of signs. Everybody receives different meaning of the same sign depending on their situation. That's how Allah Ta'ala communicates with you. If you don't open the door, if you don't look at the signs, if you don't have the eyes to look at those signs, if you don't have the training and plans to understand those signs, you're wasting your life. There is no difference between us and animals then. Because animals don't know what to do with their lives and we don't know as well. All they know is eat, drink, sleep. Okay? That's what we are doing as well. Please recreate the connection with the Quran. Very important lesson to understand. Surah Fatiha, its name and everything is a very important context. Okay? Now, we completed this table, remember?
So, Fatiha is not a key, but the person or the thing which opens.
Thing that opens it, yes, exactly.
So it's not a key.
It's not, no.
Like the previous.
No, yeah. So, Miftahun is the key. Fatiha is the, because surahs are feminine by nature, and that's why we say Fatiha. If they were masculine, we would say Surah Fatiha. Right? Now, Huwa, he, whom, they, Anta, science please everybody, Anta you, Antum you all, Ana, I, Nahnu, we. Within the next hour, we have to embed this into our lives. Okay? That's not the only thing, there is a lot more coming. Okay, and this tells you how many times these come in the Quran as well. 480 verses. So just Huwa. Imagine if you just learned one thing today. Huwa, which you didn't know. Huwa is he. It also means it. Right? Because in Arabic, masculine and neutral gender is the same. So, Huwa is it. Huwa comes 481 times in the Quran out of how many? Out of the 78,000 people. So we started the journey, right? We said we'll take very small steps. This is a very important step. A very important step. If you know the whole table, you are actually quite ahead on the journey. And you start opening the Quran then and you start picking up the signs. You won't know the vocabulary, but you would know this. This is an amazing key to the Quran. You pick up the high frequency words and you start opening the Quran and see, okay, which words I recognize. You will be amazed how many. Just by doing this. Now, this is the extended version of that. What we said was, Kitabuhu, his book, Kitabuhum, their book, Kitabuka, your book, Kitabukum, your all book, Kitabi, my book, Kitabuna, our book. Right? What did I add in the end of Kitab? Kitab was common, right? So, who, whom, ka, kum, e, na. Let's do that quickly. Who, he, who, his. Yes? Who is his? Whom, theirs. Ka, yours. Kum, belonging to you all. E, belonging to me. And na, belonging to us. Remember in Surah Fatih there was a word called Ihdina. So we joined Ihdi and Na. Just like Kitabu Na. Kitabuna would mean our book. Right? Ihdina mean Ihdi Na. Guide me. That was a request to Allah. Right? Now, what would you do to Rabb? Rabbuhu, his Rabb. Rabbuhum, their Rabb. Rabbuka, your Rabb. Rabbukum, your Rabb. Rabbi, my Rabb. And Rabbuna, our Rabb. So all I did was, the Rabb remains the same. I added the who, whom, ka, kum, ina. It made me explain the whole context to me. Where does it come in the Surah Fatih?
Second
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Malik Yawmiddin Iyaka Iyahu Iyahum Iyaka Iyakum Iya or Iyana, you can say, there are different ways of saying that as well. But the important bit is, what did you say about this one? Iya Ka. We added a ka in the end. What does that mean? Yours. Ayu is you only. Iya ka is only you. Ayu is only. Iya ka is only you. Understand? If it was ayu only, ayu who would mean?
Only his.
Only his. Ayyuhum. Only theirs. Iyaka. Only yours. Iyahum. So iyakum. Only yours. Iya. Only mine. And ayyuna. Only ours. Or iyana. Only ours. Okay. Now, done that. So I think we'll have to skip this because we need to cover something else. I was going to show you an animation. Most of you would have seen it by now. There's a very nice illustration of Surah Asr, an animated one by Numan Ali Khan's lecture and then animated lesson video. Okay, so I might run it in the end if I have some time. Okay. So who is it from? Numan Ali Khan. So you can write the name. Numan Ali Khan. Just show you a minute or so.
And the imagery that I want to share with you is one that will help you understand the larger concept of Surah Al-Asr. Imagine with me that you are drowning. And you are unconscious. Two things. You're drowning and you're unconscious. Do you have a lot of time? If you're drowning and you're unconscious, do you have a lot of time? No, you don't have a lot of time. Which means your time is running out. And you know in Arabic, what word is used for when time is running out? The word for that is al-asr. Al-asr literally means time that is running out. It's the last part of the day when the day is running out. It's time of asr prayer. Okay, asr literally comes from asir, juice that is squeezed out, time that's being squeezed out of your hands. You know, asr al-thawba even it's used. That you take a cloth that is drenched in water, and when you squish it like this, all the water comes out. Asr as a verb is used like that, right? To squeeze it out. So Allah talks about this time. You're drowning, you're unconscious.
Okay, so we'll come to that. I'll share the links with you later on. You can watch it. It's very nice, actually, fun video to watch with the family, with the children as well. Now, what does Allah Ta'ala say in this surah? We'll just spend about 2-3 minutes on that. So, wa is a very special word in Arabic, because wa can mean multiple things depending on where it's placed. Wa per se means and. It has about 27 different meanings. So mainly used one is wa is and, the second one is an oath. If it's start of a paragraph, it means it's an oath. And Allah Ta'ala has taken an oath on a few things in the Quran. You notice the start of surahs, washams, wal asr, wal adiyat, all those things. Okay? Those surahs, Allah Ta'ala is taking oath. Watini wa zaytun. They are there for a specific reason. Allah Ta'ala is taking oath on some specific bit. We should be very cautious of those things, on why Allah Ta'ala is taking an oath. Because imagine our Creator is taking an oath on an object, or on a small thing like zaitun. So it's very important to take note of this. Now, in this case it's wal asr. So by the time that is running out, Allah Ta'ala is in this most comprehensive surah, which is the shortest surah as well. Imagine, gives a full way of life. For California, explained that for him it was the crux of the Quran if he wanted to implement it in his life. California. Yeah. Now, why did he say that? It's the shortest surah. Imagine this is a huge Quran with 6,666 ayahs, and just 3 of them are here. And you're saying, is it comparable? It is actually actionable. It gives you exact way of life. The last ayah. So first is Allah Ta'ala says mankind is in loss. Second, innal insana lafi khusr. So by the time mankind is in loss, established that you should be cautious. The alarm bell has rung already. So you remember the analogy of the cat? We are the cats and the alarm has just gone off. What should we do? This. Unless we do this, there is no survival. How do we survive? Illa allazina amanu. So illa is except, allazi. Remember allazi? Allazi was who and allazina was those. Okay? So illa allazina, except those, and then there is the 4 conditions there. Amanu, amilu salihat, wa tawasi bil haq, wa tawasi bis sabr. Iman. So amanu is the plural of iman. Amilu, iman, you need iman, you need amal, the action. Then you need tawasi bil haq and tawasi bis sabr. It's not just haq, which is the truth, and the sabr, which is the patience. It's everything combined. And you notice the was in the middle. So there is a wa, and wa. What does that mean? And when I say I want to have, so a waiter comes to you and shows you the menu, and you say, bring me 1, 2, 3 and 4 number on this menu. And if he says, brings back only 1, would you be happy? You ordered 4, and you're getting 1. Would you be happy with 2? 3? Why? Very ungrateful.